Today is episode 28. Edward Snowden. Is he a national hero or is he a traitor? Let's get to the bottom of that. Hey guys, real quick before we start the show, wanted to let you know kind of how we do things around here, how we do the podcast. If you've ever wanted to make a podcast, we use Spotify. Spotify's got a platform that lets you make a podcast really, really easy. And then they let you distribute it everywhere and even earn some money if you want a little change, chain in your pocket. And they do it all in one place. And it's for free. That's the exciting part. It's called Spotify for Podcasters. Here's how it works. They let you record and edit podcasts right from your phone or your computer. And then they'll let you distribute your podcast to Spotify and everywhere else podcasts are heard. And if you want to take your conversations to the next level, they have really cool features like Q&A and polls. And those are the things that really get people and your fans talking about things. So with Spotify for Podcasters, you can also earn money, including ads and podcast subscriptions. And the best of all, like I said, it's totally free with no catch. Ever since I've discovered it, I feel like the options of the Q&A and the video options and the polls has really let me take the creativity of my podcasting to another level. I highly recommend you give it a try. Download the Spotify for Podcasters app or go to www.spotify.com/podcasters to get started today. Dice Man Enterprises exclusively presents a talk show that will get to the bottom of things once and for all. And now here's your host for Let's Get to the Bottom of That, three weirdos on a mic. Taking it short and sweet.
I liked it
today.
It was good.
Just getting right into the show. I feel like we hadn't done a show in a while, but we have.
That's true, yeah. We took
What's
a
up?
little extra time.
What is up, my three weirdos?
What's up?
Or actually, my two weirdos. I'm one of the three. I'm Byron Dice, your host. I have Jason and Mike with me in studio. What's up, fellas?
What's up? How's it going?
It's going good, dude. I'm like really surprised. I'm looking at our stats, and I know nobody cares about this on the show. People that listen to this are, oh my gosh, what is he talking about? But I have to thank the audience because they're the ones that make it happen.
Yeah, they're blowing us up.
I mean, the Clinton episode is crushing. It's been out less than a week, and it's blown records away.
The Clinton episode has been killing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Anyway, that's hilarious.
The live studio audience loved that one.
Man, I'm glad to be back in studio. It feels like it's been a while, but I know we just released the Clintons. Today we're talking about Edward Snowden. This is probably going to be a very split decision episode as far as our audience is concerned. Because
Really?
there's probably a lot of people that think he's a traitor. That could listen to our episode and think that.
Do you think there would be more people or you split from traitor to hero? I would assume that.
You think most people that
he's a
as
hero.
our audience,
would think he was a
our
hero.
conspiracy nuts, think that he's a hero?
I would think so.
In our audience, I could see that, but if somebody just types in like Edward Snowden as a search term and somehow lands on us, maybe they would fall into that.
I don't know how you could see him as a traitor.
Some people think
Well, I mean, the CIA thinks he's a traitor.
yeah.
And the NSA thinks he's a traitor.
Absolutely, they do.
Meghan McCain, I think.
They want to kill him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
She's the person on The View, right? Meghan McCain. I heard her say something.
Oh,
Like John
yeah.
McCain's
She's like,
daughter. She's
yeah,
I don't
Eye Patch McCain.
Yeah, she's like the
I got some new sounds today. So I think because of Jason's request, check this out.
I love it.
Man is a male who turned to man. Live right, be right, and lead the way.
I love
I
that.
do rely on my mom for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. I do rely on my mom for a lot of things.
Beta. Anyway, I think you requested this one too.
To check if you qualify.
Yes, fantastic.
And anytime.
What am I doing here? The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able
And
Anyway.
Joe Biden is an amazing storyteller.
Amazing storyteller. That was Jen Psaki at the end there.
Vomited in my
She
mouth.
was on The View saying, hey, he's an amazing story. I could listen to him for 6 hours in the White House. Yeah, with razor blades.
Yeah, no story would actually
Come
be
out.
told in that 6 hours.
Just a whole bunch of slurring. Are you drunk, sir?
Yeah, seriously.
Right. Yeah, what did you take? And then this one will, I could randomly do this, and y'all probably would believe it.
Oh my
So
gosh. Don't scare me.
I knew that would
I
get
felt that one.
Yeah,
I felt that
that
one.
one's too close to home.
Yeah, so today is Edward Snowden. We got anything to talk about? I know there was another shooting.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if we're going to talk about that. It's a very heavy subject. I hate school shootings where kids get killed. Anybody gets killed.
Mm-hmm.
But I am thankful that the law enforcement was there to put that active shooter down very quickly, unlike we've seen in the past.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job. So,
Yeah.
not much to say about that unless y'all had any information about that.
No.
I think that's the only big news going on right now.
Yeah, I think so.
That and well, anyway.
I have something else topical, but we'll bring that up
Oh, really?
in the show.
Okay,
Yep.
cool.
That's
It
related.
ties it in.
Oh,
Ties
really?
it in.
That's
well-
happening right now?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, really? That ties in?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Did
Yeah.
you say that ties in? And then I said it.
Yeah.
No, he said that.
It's a secret.
Did I say
We'll
that?
get there, guys.
I don't know. I just got excited.
Yeah, it's cool.
All right.
You guys both know what it is.
I don't.
We'll know it when he says
when
it.
I bring it up.
A McDonald's parking lot.
Beautiful.
Anyway,
Sounds fantastic.
you got something?
No, Edward Snowden.
Okay.
I mean, I think he's a national hero.
I think he's a national hero. I'll just go ahead on record and
Yeah,
say
absolutely. 100%.
I also think he's
Yeah.
a hero. I think he's a great guy, and it's
that. I think what they've done to him is tragic.
yep.
I think I put it up there with the January 6 people.
What do
Even
you
though
mean? What do you mean? What they did?
they won't let him back in the country. If he even got here, he'd go on trial. They put him in a black site.
Yeah.
It's just the American citizen that, I can't go home anymore.
Yep.
Sure.
That was a big sacrifice. He
It's
made.
sad.
Yep.
I guess the bigger question is, because a lot of people are calling him a traitor, and because he gave out classified information about what the government was doing. Right?
Mhm.
We get that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like he was doing the ethical thing,
Yes.
right? So he was doing the ethical thing. So when does your ethics supersede your patriotism? Like when is that threshold, broken? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that he was in the right.
I do.
He
Yeah.
truly thought what is happening here is wrong.
Right.
And what's sad is he's the only one in the room that thought that.
Yeah.
Everybody else was just robot going along with whatever. Maybe they believed they were doing the right thing, or maybe they just want to keep their heads down and keep their mouths shut.
Yes.
One of the two. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of people who think just like him and had probably, opinions in line with what he has, and they are just comfortable.
Yeah, I don't want to die.
Right.
I don't want to lose my job.
Yes. That's the big thing for a lot of people.
I mean,
That's a big thing.
That is.
We sit here. We're regular Joes on a podcast working jobs, and I don't want to die if I,
well, I mean, here's
if I want to turn that guy in that didn't turn the coffee pot off in the break room.
right. And here's what I want to shed light on or just dive into, patriotism. People might say that he's not a true patriot, but our country was founded on a morality, a foundation of ethics.
Yes.
Right? The Constitution,
Right.
The Bill of Rights, right?
Yep.
So what he was doing was more patriotic.
Yes, it is. Exactly.
Because he was adhering to a set of principles that the country was founded on.
Yeah, he
Something
was
that-
upholding the
something
Constitution.
that yeah, of course. And so
Yeah. You're exactly right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think, and we'll get into it. What they were doing was unconstitutional,
Without a doubt.
even though they were putting a stamp on it of, oh, this is security.
Mm-hmm.
We're protecting American lives by doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, dude, that people think he's a bad guy. It really is.
Well, in case you are younger, like Mike mentioned earlier off air, there's kids that don't even know this guy. Here's a high-level introduction to Edward Joseph Snowden. Okay, he was born on June 21st, 1983. That was a good year.
It was a good year.
Anyway, in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, his maternal grandfather, Edward J. Barrett, he was a rear admiral in the U.S. Coast Guard. Snowden became a senior official with the FBI and was at the Pentagon in the 2001 during the 9/11 attacks. Was he talking about Barrett or him in that sentence? You see that sentence where it says became a senior official? That's Snowden, right? He was in the Pentagon in 2001 during 9/11. That's what I read.
I think it's talking about his dad.
You think? Well, it mentioned his grandfather. Anyway, maybe that is.
Where'd you get these notes? What is
this? Is Wikipedia, dude. This is the best source ever.
Where did you find
Snowden's
these
father,
notes?
Lonnie, was a warrant officer in the Coast Guard. Oh, so we got a couple of dudes that were just Coast Guard.
Yeah.
His mother, Elizabeth, was a clerk at the U.S. District Court for the District of Maryland. That's where I used to live. His older sister, Jessica, was a lawyer at the Federal Judicial Center. Wow, everybody has their hands in the government.
Yeah,
this whole family.
Yeah. And it goes back all the way to, I think I read that it went back all to colonial days where
Yep.
he
mentioned that.
ties.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Edward Snowden said that he expected to work for the federal government, as had the rest of his family. His parents divorced in 2001. His father remarried. In the early 1990s, he was still in grade school. Snowden moved with his family to the area of Fort Meade, Maryland. Mononucleosis caused him to miss his high school for almost like 9 months.
Good old mono.
God, I hate that. Get a vaccine. Rather than returning to school, he passed the GED test. That's kind of funny right there. This guy's a wizard.
And
he's doing GED.
I mean, that's smart. That's
He
brilliant.
took classes at Anne Arundel Community College. Go Community College. You know what I'm talking about? Although Snowden had no undergraduate college degree, he worked online toward a master's degree at the University of Liverpool, England in 2011. He was interested in Japanese popular culture.
Japanese.
He studied the Japanese language and worked for an anime company that had a resident office in the U.S. He also said he had a basic understanding of Mandarin Chinese and was deeply interested in martial arts. At age 20, he listed Buddhism? He was a Buddhist as his religion on a military recruitment form, noting that the choice of agnostic was strangely absent. And this is high level. Oh, he did release it. Now, let me just go ahead and... So that kind of gives you who Edward Snowden was, who his family was, why he's in the government. He recently, in 2019, he released a memoir called Permanent Record. You should go check that out. I'm probably going to buy it just to read it. There's been several movies. Citizen 4 is actually a documentary with Snowden, live footage. I don't know who recorded that. I think it was the reporters.
The Guardian from the
Guardians.
Yeah.
So I've watched that.
Yeah.
And what's his name? G. Gordon Liddy?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
I was way off.
Yeah.
I don't know
G-
who you were talking about.
He was a
like,
radio host in
Is it?
Atlanta, G. Gordon Liddy, yeah.
Wow.
Ray talks like this.
Really?
Welcome back to the G. Gordon Liddy Show.
That's interesting.
Anyway, Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Mm-hmm.
actually portrayed Edward Snowden in a movie. I think it's called Snowden.
I think you're right.
Right.
Yeah, it was called Snowden.
It's called Snowden. So he looks like him too. It was kind of amazing. He put the glasses on. He was kind of awkward, kind of Napoleon Dynamite-ish.
Okay.
Kind of standoff. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I thought after watching that and then watching the real documentary, I was like, wow, he
did a good job.
Kind of nailed it.
Okay.
So I've watched both of those. I suggest if you're listening to this podcast and you want to know more about it and get detailed, go watch those movies. It's very good. And you could probably decide for yourself, maybe after this, maybe we'll change your mind if you think he's a traitor. Edward Snowden, a traitor, changed my mind. If we change your mind on this podcast, there's no need to watch this stuff. We've done our jobs.
Yeah.
True.
But if we can't change your mind, go watch it. And then I'm pretty sure you're going to say he's a hero.
If anything, that this episode does, it will expand your mind. You
Yeah,
know,
for sure.
give you a different
Like
perspective.
mushrooms.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're like the mushrooms of podcasting.
Yeah.
The
Cordyceps.
psilocybin mushroom.
Cordyceps.
So anyway, he released his memoir, Permanent Record, and Snowden revealed to The Guardian, which they've been really close, that he married Lindsay Mills in a courthouse in Moscow. The couple's first son was born December 2020, and their second son was born sometime around or before September 2022. So dude's in Moscow.
Yep.
He married somebody. They married him in Moscow. He's got a couple of kids. He's living life. Even though
I'm glad that he's able to, have like a relatively normal life despite all he's had to go through.
right. So people are probably asking, what did he go through and why is he in Moscow?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody here around the table have any information for me?
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of lost.
I think
Yeah.
Mike does.
I have a lot of notes. Where do you want to dive in exactly?
Where do you want to hit it? I've got an article here that I'll probably just kind of.
Start when the day he was born.
Yeah, we covered some of that.
What
I guess if we're going to overview anything, basically Edward Snowden, he goes by Ed, actually.
Yeah, Ed.
Ed Snowden, he is the NSA whistleblower that is regarded by many to be a hero. However, some people still hold that he is a traitor. We're going to change their mind today.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll go into detail on that matter.
So what's a whistleblower, real quick? If we could just talk about that.
Like in legal terms, or
Yeah, Yeah, you said he was a whistleblower.
he is a whistleblower.
So what does that
it's
mean
somebody,
for our audience?
Somebody who's an insider who becomes aware of some information that would otherwise be classified that they reveal to the public because they believe either for ethical reasons or some other reason that it is something that the public should know, be aware of.
And that definition gets an air horn.
There we go.
Thank you.
It's right
Yep.
on. He was reading the dictionary. Webster.
No, so I'm looking at the ceiling.
I was looking around, but
He was,
yeah, that was not in my notes. But yeah, legally it might mean something slightly different from what I just said.
I
but
doubt
that-
it. You nailed it.
Okay, I appreciate that. But
Nailed it.
yeah, so Edward Snowden, at the end of his professional career in intelligence agencies, he was working for Booz Allen Hamilton as an infrastructure analyst for NSA while living in Hawaii.
At the age of 27, right?
Yeah, this was in 2013, so I think he was 27.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
It was pretty young. When I read that, I was like, that's pretty young.
Yeah.
Now, you said he was a contractor
Mm-hmm.
working for NSA.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably how they keep their hands clean.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
They don't hire people actually for the government. They'll hire a contractor.
Yeah, compartmentalized.
Yep. So he was living in paradise. He said on the Joe Rogan podcast that he was making over $200,000 a year.
Wow.
And he had seen enough evidence of government wrongdoing in his line of work that he decided to forego his high-paying job and go public with what he saw by leaking documents.
1 million documents.
Yeah.
1 million.
Lots and lots and lots
1 million
of stuff.
documents.
Yes.
Pages and pages and
How did he
pages.
get these documents?
Through his work. What do you
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, just like pick them up off the floor.
No, they're probably on,
Where are these documents
hard
at?
drive.
Oh, is that what it was? Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They
He
get,
just stumbled across all.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this?
you come into the office and Ed Snowden's just standing by the printer. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah,
running
that's
hot. Like,
That's what
why-
I'm thinking. Like, what are these Wait a minute. You guys are doing this stuff?
Nothing to see here, guys. Just
Yeah.
keep it moving.
Like, dude, why are you printing everything today?
Yeah.
So what did Ed Snowden reveal? So
Yes.
what he disclosed wasn't just information, but rather he disclosed how the intelligence agencies collect information. How do they do it? Clandestine telephone, internet, and email surveillance, even on American citizens.
Oh, yeah.
And clandestine is a beautiful word that just means in secret.
Yeah.
Yep.
You don't know I'm here.
Yep. So that's how they do it.
Are you saying that they're doing this without warrants?
They're doing it without warrants.
And guess what, guys? They're still doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it right now
While
have,
we speak.
We have 3 cell phones in the room with us.
I have an Alexa on the fridge,
Yep.
and there's one up in the bedroom and a Google Home.
I'm an undercover
So I'm
agent.
NSA tight here.
Yeah. So
Hello, guys.
the NSA is going to be hearing this episode before it drops,
Right.
just like they do with every episode of ours.
Yes.
And
They're probably trying. What is that thing that we talked about during the Havana syndrome, where they were using mind control? That's probably what they're doing right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear the noise. Yeah,
Hear their thoughts.
right.
Probably what they're doing right now.
Probably. Yep.
Are you thinking something?
Nothing.
Okay.
Are you thinking something? So why did Ed Snowden do it? Why would he do that?
Well, I mean,
He's got a great job. He lives in paradise. He's a young, rich man. Just keep his head down.
That's a good question.
Do his work, right?
I'll answer that question for you.
Answer it, right?
Okay, I'll answer that question for you.
Answer.
Obviously, he comes from a long line of family members that served in the military.
Yeah.
True patriots.
Yes. Coast Guard.
He thought, how can I serve my country the best way I can with this information that I know is unethical? Hey, you know what I can do? I can let the American people know, the public know, and I'm going to do just that.
Yep.
And if it costs me everything, it costs me everything. That's what he did.
That is what he did. Yeah. So he revealed the overreach by the intelligence communities because he, like many of us, does not want to see our country continue to slide down its current trajectory where the federal government can violate the rights of its own people unilaterally, So
Communism. Marxism.
Yep. And so it leads us to a good question of, what is the Fourth Amendment, right? So what the Fourth Amendment enshrines in the Constitution is it prohibits unreasonable searches and seizures.
Mm-hmm.
It sets the requirements for issuing warrants, which must be justified by probable cause. In a nutshell, it's your right to privacy is what the Fourth Amendment is. So with what we're about to dive into, an interesting thought experiment is if a president or somebody in Congress introduced a bill that sought to amend the Constitution of the United States to repeal the Fourth Amendment, how do you guys think people would react to that?
They would say, absolutely, it's fine. I've had this conversation with numerous people. One, my wife, and currently, my wife, we had this conversation a couple days ago. And also I had this conversation with a guy at work, and he said, I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I'm fine with it. He goes, I have
Really?
nothing to hide.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
That's,
I said,
I always hear that
that's
one.
That's the lamest reason I always hear. It's just
That I always hear. That's usually the default.
But that's not the point here. That's the
is.
point whether you have something to hide or not. It's the point that they have so much power and overreach that that's where it starts, and then it snowballs.
Well, sure.
Yeah.
I feel like if you do anything that is going to compromise yourself, that they can go back and I've got nothing to hide. Oh, well, actually you do.
And
Because we're going to dig up something.
and they always use it under the guise of for your safety.
Yeah, national
Always.
security.
Always.
It's just for your safety. We can't sacrifice our freedom for safety. You can't do it because there's always going to be that risk of uncertainty.
Right.
And so the only thing that we know for certain is that we have the choice to be free,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when they start taking that away, what do we have? We're never going to be 100% safe.
Never.
Never. But we
No.
can be. Our rights can be 100% taken away from us if we let
You're
them.
beholden to the state.
Yep. Yeah.
And all this came about because of the Patriot Act.
Yep.
Remember that?
Stellar wind.
Stellar wind.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember that? We talked about that on the show.
Yep.
Under the guise of safety. We don't
that's
want
always-
another 9/11, so we need to listen to people.
Yeah. So we need the Department of Homeland Security and, get rid of the idea of innocent until proven guilty.
But what's
Yeah.
ironic is that the United States, they want to listen to us, and that's fine. But if we get another company like, let's say a public company like TikTok that's owned by mostly people from China, right?
Mhm.
Oh, that's an issue.
Yep.
We can't have them. We can't have them breaching our citizens' privacy.
That was
through-
the thing I was going to tie into
Okay,
this
go
show.
ahead. Okay,
Yep,
okay,
You
go.
got it. Yeah. The Restrict Act.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you read that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's worse than the Patriot Act.
Yep. It is.
I haven't read.
It's not about TikTok anymore.
I don't think it ever was.
TikTok is just the opening door, like, hey, let's use TikTok to put all these restrictions on the rest of our citizens.
Yeah.
I mean, if the Democrats are okay with this, something's wrong. You know,
Yeah.
they're not fighting it at all.
Yeah, it's like the bill is allegedly about like protecting American national security and putting an end to like foreign adversaries interfering with our elections via apps like TikTok and stuff like that. Like, never mind election interference that's happening from like
That we're
you know,
doing.
big tech and Facebook.
Yeah,
and stuff
never
like
mind
that.
Dominion voting machines.
Right. But in reality, like, this bill isn't really about banning TikTok. It's about granting enormous new powers to the federal government to punish American citizens and regulate how they can communicate with one another.
Yeah.
And it uses like really vague language like foreign adversaries, which will be up to the interpretation of this Secretary of Commerce, not like Congress or anything like that. And they're going to be able to decide whether or not you are acting in the interest of a foreign adversary, and then use any mitigation measure to address any risk as they see fit.
They use the same
Man, I hope they
terminology.
don't.
They use the same terminology to what's the word I'm trying to look
You
for?
got it.
I don't have it.
You
I
can
feel like
do this.
I feel like Joe Biden right now. Do it.
Is it in the Patriot Act? Or?
What am I doing here?
That's how I feel right now.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're doing the same, using the same language they used to introduce the Patriot Act.
Yeah.
It was so vague.
It's always vague, yeah.
It's been vague and allowed the power to the executive branch, to the president, to just do whatever he wanted.
Yeah.
And that's what they're doing here.
Yeah,
Same story.
I hope this doesn't get passed.
For that, wasn't it like terrorist?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
what
terrorist.
is a terrorist, right?
Yeah.
There's like, oh yeah, you know, terrorists. And people are like, oh, I agree with that.
and then
I'm
they-
not a terrorist.
And then when they did the same thing when we were doing torture, they used a broad language so it could engulf
Right.
Yeah.
anything.
Yep.
Yeah. So you could go down that slippery slope a little bit.
Yep. So you really hope that this doesn't get passed. I know there's like a lot of distractions and stuff right now, and it's kind of almost flying under the radar. Like not a ton of people are talking about it, but the people that are talking about it are really sounding the alarm on it. And
I think they're making, because they keep throwing the clips up of the CEO of TikTok and how he's evading the questions of do you own data from American citizens, and he's dodging the question. They're throwing that up as a sideshow to make the people go and get behind them. Oh yeah, see, the Chinese are screwing us over.
yeah.
Well, yeah, pass the bill.
Yep.
When you're just going down the river.
And to be honest, I don't put it past the Chinese that they're screwing us over.
I know what they are.
Right.
I mean, I listened to Joe Rogan's podcast where he read the terms and service.
Of TikTok.
Yes, and he said it was,
As long as
it was crazy.
If your phone, let's say your whole family doesn't have TikTok and you have TikTok,
It doesn't matter.
and they're on the same server, the same Wi-Fi, they have access not only to everyone else's phone but every device.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's insane.
Yep.
And then they have the ability to turn on your camera and
Yeah.
listen to your microphone.
It's shocking. It really
Yeah.
is.
That's incredible.
Yep.
and that's just one app.
Yeah.
And they're talking about the Restrict Act. They're going to be it's like all the communications
Right.
is going to be like that.
Yep. So yeah, if it were really about going after TikTok, they could do it in like 2 sentences. It doesn't need to be some huge
Yeah.
act. That's always what it is, right? It's
We'll
like,
pass the bill. We'll read it after we pass it.
yeah, it's some danger, and then a huge book comes
Yeah.
that no one gets a chance to read, and they're like, this is going to protect us.
Yeah, and they usually pass some kind of bill in the dead of night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody's read it.
No one's read it.
Hey, you going to vote on this, right?
Yeah. Let's get it passed right now.
You got some cash?
Yeah, seriously. It's like you read all 4,000 pages of it, didn't you? In the last 24 hours that we've had to look at it.
Is Nephilim in there?
I don't have cash, but I have this vial of children's blood. Here, thank you.
Right. Oh.
So yeah, it's crazy stuff. And
So where were we? So Edward got a bunch of documents on a hard drive. Now, I don't know if this happened, but in the movie, he was downloading it. You know how when you download and it's very dramatic in the movie?
Yeah.
It's like, because you see that progress bar and his boss is coming and it's talking to him. And the dude in his cubicle seemed to know what he was doing and he was okay with it. Like, well, I'm glad somebody's stepping up. I'm not going to be the one, but I'm glad you're doing it. You know what I'm saying? And then at one point, the the thumb drive fell out. He was scrambling because the boss was coming over to talk to him. And if he saw his screen, he knew what he would be doing. And he dropped it on the floor, and his cubicle mate stepped on it, kind of put his foot over it until his boss left. And he just kind of looked at him like,
I wonder if any of that
Go for
happened.
it.
Or if
I
it was,
wonder.
Yeah, or if it was just like
For dramatic.
I wonder. But that was pretty cool that he just put his foot over it, and then he moved his foot, and he picked it up, and that's when he walked out.
Oh, okay, so he had a buddy in there helping him.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
I like that idea.
Yep.
We don't know if it's true, but
Yeah, we're not sure. I know he was working at he was like on a one-man team at the end of his career in Hawaii at something called like the Office of Information Sharing. And then he was replacing some guy who just read novels all day because he was like, at the end of his career and was just ready to retire. But yeah, he eventually helped out some like IT people with like something called like a dirty word search, which is how he caught wind of Stellar Wind, which I think was like one of the last straws for him. So there's this guy, Michael Hayden, who was the former director of the NSA and CIA under George W. Bush.
Oh,
He ran a program called Stellar Wind, where the communications of anyone in America could be collected en masse under the pretext of preventing terrorism, like we just talked about, terrorism. So the Stellar Wind program was approved by President Bush shortly after the 9/11 attacks in 2001. And Stellar Wind first became known to the public in 2004. However, it wasn't until the revelations made by Ed Snowden that the public became aware of the telephone, internet, and email surveillance of American citizens. All of that, which was the bulk of the program, remained secret until 2013 when Ed revealed it.
right.
wow.
So for 11 years or 12 years, for 12 years,
Data farms.
they were just collecting data.
Yeah.
But I didn't have anything to hide.
And yeah, I don't have anything to. Well, so what do y'all think about like NSA, CIA actually listening for chatter, for actual threats? What does that look like to you guys? And should it be? Should we be looking for threats? And are there threats that you can pick up on communications?
I'm sure there's keywords that they ran through some kind of algorithm that they would pick up on and be like, okay, this sounds fishy,
Yep. I
mean, are y'all okay with
personally
some type of surveillance or intelligence gathering to detect threats?
I'm personally not okay with it in the way that it's being done today.
Okay.
I am a firm believer in the need for warrants. I think once that door is open, where warrants are not a thing that you need anymore, then we're looking at dodgy interpretations of the Fourth Amendment and basically not having one. So I would prefer
I'd agree with that.
to
go the
not
legal
go,
route.
to not
How
go that
could
way.
we? Is there another way
To do what?
to stop threats?
Yeah.
How do we do that without listening to chatter?
Because, I mean, you can find out things without that, for sure. I mean, it existed before all this stuff was in place, before 9/11.
But the world's got a lot bigger.
It has.
To play devil's advocate, the world's got a lot bigger, a lot more complicated.
Yep.
And they'll say, we haven't had another 9/11. Must be working. So what are you complaining about?
That's their argument, yeah. Yep.
But I mean, how many?
Who's to say that?
I would have to see the stats to see how many.
That
have
just
they
proves it was
prevented.
an inside job.
Yeah, I mean, that,
We haven't done it again.
We haven't done it.
yeah.
Like it hasn't happened again because nobody,
Right.
Which
the
is,
terrorist Osama bin Laden didn't do it.
Right.
which is the perfect pretext to always keep it in place. Because, like, let's say you get a president that's like, hey, we're doing away with all this. Next month, there's going to be another 9/11. They're like, we could have stopped this.
See,
Yeah. Now he's impeached. Now let's get...
Or dead.
Yeah, or... Yeah.
With
Yeah.
some bullet that hit from every angle
Right.
on the man.
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, he
and
gets...
it curves.
He gets shot. Oh, we could have stopped that, too. We got to get it back in place today.
Minority Report. Have you guys watched that?
Yes.
With Tom Cruise.
Excellent
man.
movie.
Fantastic.
Mike, come on.
I know.
Basically, they
He's
try
not a
to-
movie guy, is he?
No, I am. I watch a lot of movies. It's just I watch a lot of, like, bad movies.
This is Tom.
And
What?
I do.
What's a bad movie?
Like horror movies that no one's heard of. And
Like
stuff
what?
like
Give me
that.
one.
Oh, man, there's a lot.
Texas Chainsaw?
Yeah, everyone's heard of that one.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Under the Stairs?
I haven't seen that.
People, the hills have eyes.
The Hills Have Eyes.
That's
I've watched
nasty.
that.
I couldn't do it.
That's
I had
nasty.
to I
Those
had-
guys.
Which one? The original one or
Yes.
the
The
original?
one was too much.
Oh, is there a remake? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I think the first one came
So-
out in the 70s, didn't it?
So,
Oh, the remake was terrible.
I
That's the
didn't
one
know
saw.
that.
Yeah, I couldn't do this.
Yeah, but it reminded me of my cousins. That's why I didn't like it. Anyway, so you're a bad movie, horror guy movie.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah, Minority Report.
We're Tom
basically-
Cruise over here.
Yeah, basically,
Tom Cruise has some good films, too. I've seen a lot of his stuff, but not
they
that
would
one.
try to stop crimes.
It's called pre-crime.
Yeah, pre-crime. So they would kind of like predict if somebody was going to make a
They
crime.
had savants.
Yep.
Yeah, and then arrest the person that they
Yeah,
were
before it happened.
before it happened.
This is very similar to 1984.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thought
Yeah.
crime.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, basically.
And you got to think, is that okay though? Is the dude was about to kill his wife and we stopped him? That's okay, right? Should we let him commit the crime?
That's,
Well, I don't know.
Should we?
Some
Should
people think things that they don't actually follow through with, right?
Yeah, but if they're like for instance, okay, they're busting in the door. Dude's actually got the knife. He's about to kill his wife.
Okay.
They picked up on it and they stopped him.
Sure, but
That's good, right?
devil's advocate here.
Got to take the good with the bad.
Right, but devil's advocate here. I mean,
People die every day. Why do we need to stop it?
until you commit the crime, right? Because at that moment, right, he could
Yeah.
have a change of
Yeah. See, that's good. I like that.
I'm not going to do this.
Yep.
That would hold up in a court of law too.
You know.
Yep.
You didn't know I was going to kill her
Mm-mm.
because I didn't. What crime's been committed here?
Yeah, and you could make the argument that like a lot of the stuff that they're gaining through this illegal surveillance system is inadmissible in court anyway. So it's not like because like let's say I break into your house and I discover a whole bunch of evidence that incriminates you in some way. I can't use that in court. That's called fruit of the poisonous tree, because
I got that book.
I obtained the evidence illegally, so now I can't use it.
Right.
Same with this stuff.
Right, yeah, you're right.
I've seen enough Law and Order to know that.
Yep.
Gong gong.
Yep.
Which one you like, the original or the SVU?
SVU.
You like that
Yeah,
one?
we do the SVU.
Sexual Victims Unit.
Especially egregious, heinous crimes.
Yeah. Wow,
Should we-
Benson, dude.
Yeah.
She's not stopping.
Stabler.
Should we?
Hey, it means you're gay. I love that line.
Should we talk a little bit about what
We should. We're off track here.
Snowden had to go through.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this real quick. But you're gonna tell me that.
Okay.
Well, go ahead. Are you going to Russia right now? Because I was gonna read something where he went to Russia.
Before that,
Okay, go ahead.
so
Hong Kong.
we know that Snowden revealed all his information to the Guardian, right?
That's right.
So what he did is he left his job in Hawaii and he flew to Hong Kong, where he met with Glenn Greenwald and Laura Poitras, who is actually, I think, the director of that movie that you watched, Citizen 4.
Yes.
She was the filmmaker there.
Now, The Guardian is a paper in London, right? So, okay.
Yep.
Just for our audience there.
Yep. So we're going to talk about them, and we're going to talk about WikiLeaks as well. So,
Assange.
yep. So despite Snowden revealing the information that he had to the Guardian, they actually never offered him anything by way of protection or legal counsel or anything like that. They kind of just took his information and left him out to dry.
Who, the Guardian journalist?
The Guardian did. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So the NSA disclosures that he gave them, the reporting done by Glenn Greenwald, Laura Poitras, Ewan McCaskill, and Barton Gelman, they actually earned the Guardian the 2014 Pulitzer Prize for public service. So they won basically like the highest award that you can get in their field for the information that Snowden gave them. And then
Thanks, Snowden.
And then he wasn't really offered anything in return from them. So it kind of sucked that it happened the way that it did for him. But one organization did step up, and that was WikiLeaks. They wanted to ensure that Edward Snowden remained safe after he came out as a whistleblower. So just days after Edward Snowden made his revelations and went into hiding within Hong Kong, WikiLeaks journalist Sarah Harrison got off a plane in Hong Kong and took charge of what was to become known as Operation Asylum. which is where they were trying to get him asylum. So we can talk a little bit about that and what that was. So at this point in time, he'd gone public. His face has been on the news.
And they released those documents in The Guardian, right?
Yeah, he gave all of his stuff to those guys, and they had it, and they were going.
So the world knows.
And he went public too.
Yes.
He went in and made a little video clip saying, "Hey, I did this."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and by the way, I want to back up. Sorry. The reason in the movie, and Mike does this too, he puts tape over his camera on his laptop.
Yep.
Because when he was working for the people in Hawaii, he watched this dude real time going to somebody's laptop and watched their video feed in the bedroom.
Yeah. Yep.
Snowden he was like, "Is this live?" Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, it's just an algorithm and just run this code." And I was like, and that's when he was probably going, bells are going off here.
Yes, exactly.
Anyway, go ahead.
So Operation Asylum. So while the United States was issuing the request for Edward Snowden's arrest and extradition from Hong Kong, WikiLeaks was helping him strategize. And what they did is they bought a ticket from Hong Kong to India as cover using Snowden's credit card for 2 days after the actual asylum flight. In total, they purchased more than a dozen tickets in Snowden's name on flights leaving Hong Kong in hopes of getting him out of the country successfully and avoiding U.S. interception. Okay?
Right.
So they're creating all this mess with all his name everywhere, basically. And then Hong Kong allowed Edward Snowden to leave despite the United States' request for extradition because the United States rushed the paperwork and used his wrong middle name. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they basically have this extradition form that says, hey, we want this guy back in the United States. We believe he's in your country.
Edward Thomas Snowden.
And it said,
no, sir.
Edward James Snowden.
James.
And his middle name is Joseph.
Joseph.
Yep.
Wow.
So he was able to get through security just fine at the airport, and the State Department hadn't canceled his passport yet. So it was a perfectly valid passport at that.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah. They canceled it by the time he got to Russia. So he escaped from Hong Kong to Moscow, Russia, and then had hoped to get on a plane from there to Cuba. They were trying to get him down in Latin America, basically.
Yeah, it says here that he went to Ecuador.
Yep, they were trying to get him down there, and Snowden's canceled passport made it impossible for him to get on the plane. So the plane leaves. And then Russian President Vladimir Putin denied him entry into Russia since he was unwilling to work with the Russian intelligence agencies. So he and Sarah Harrison had to fend for themselves in the airport's transit zone, which is like a little room with like cots and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had to live there for like over a month. And there's like no windows, no shower, anything like that. So after living there for a month, Snowden was ultimately granted a temporary citizenship in Russia, something that was like a year long or whatever. And then on September 26th, 2022, President Vladimir Putin granted Snowden Russian citizenship. Okay?
Yay.
Yep. And
Thanks, Putin.
And on December 1st, Snowden swore an oath of allegiance to Russia and received a Russian passport.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yep. He did that. So he's...
I didn't know that.
I mean, what choice does he have?
It's the best option for him.
I mean, yeah, for real.
Yep. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy story. Can't believe he really had to go through all that.
I wonder what else they gave. He had to give up something.
Maybe.
Well, they wanted him. I mean, they wanted secrets bad.
Yeah, I mean,
They wanted him to work for the KGB or
I'm
something.
sure he said, I won't work for you, but I can tell you something.
Maybe.
Well, he did say, this is a quote from him. Snowden was directed to a room where Russian intelligence offered to assist him in return for access to secrets he harbored. Snowden refused. Quote, I didn't cooperate with the Russian intelligence services. I haven't, and I won't. I destroyed my access to the archive. I had no material with me before I left Hong Kong because I knew I was going to have to go through this complex multi-jurisdictional route.
That's smart.
And he spent 40 days in the airport trying to negotiate asylum in various countries. He was denied, 27 nations denied his request for asylum. And he settled in Russia, where he's, like Mike just mentioned, he remains today as a citizen. And he's gotten married and had 2 sons.
Yep.
That's strange.
Yeah. So maybe when they asked him for that, he's like, "Look, I don't have anything else, and I've made everything public. It's all out there. It's not like I'm not
I don't
just
have
telling
it.
you. I told
Yeah.
everybody."
That's what. He was basically saying, I don't have any secrets other than what I've told everybody.
Okay, let's play this out.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't have any secrets. Can I come into your country?
Mm-hmm.
You're a Russian.
You must work for me.
Mm-hmm.
I must break you.
I can't. I'm just an American boy. Right?
Well, if you become Russian citizen, we'll let you come in.
It's that easy. All I have to do.
Yes.
Why are you being so
it
generous
is
and so
very
nice?
easy.
Okay, I'm
We
gonna
put
do
you up in room.
Oh.
Nice room.
Oh, for me?
Yes. Russian citizen.
I don't have to give you anything.
No.
No, that's so nice. I never knew Russians were so nice.
Mm-hmm.
The Russian government. Was
I wrote
so,
for Vladimir Putin.
Okay, he's a good.
You
guy,
maybe
so-
heard of him.
Never have.
He loves Ukraine.
Does he ride
Very much.
horses?
Yes.
No shirt.
No shirt.
Oh my
Mhm.
gosh, so strong.
Very handsome.
very so strong.
Yeah. So why do you think that Russia did it? Do you think he did give them something?
I think it was
No-
a middle finger to
nobody-
the U.S.
Nobody does anything for nothing. That's just no government, no agency. Nobody does anything for nothing.
Is the thing that they're getting out of it just the
I think it's the middle
optics?
finger, dude.
Like the optics look
could-
good.
It could be. That is something.
They're like, hey, the rest of the world turned their back on you.
Yeah.
We're the cool country that's going to
Yeah,
take
look at
you
us.
in, dude. Look
Yeah.
at us. We're pro.
Hey, guess what, America? He's a citizen of us now.
I mean, that could be.
You
sure.
suck.
That's trading. That's a trade-off.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean,
What
why-
if he? This would be crazy, but what if he got a job there?
And he did the same thing.
And all these secrets. I'm back in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh my gosh.
He'll run out of places where he can.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, you know me. I'm just skeptical of people and agencies. and
Yeah. I
countries.
mean, I get what you're saying.
So I don't know.
I get because, they didn't hide it. They wanted secrets from it.
Yeah, they definitely.
Hey,
did.
work with us.
But I can also see his point of view. Like, if the country that you were born in and had your allegiance to, you were serving the American people by doing this, by putting this information out there.
They betrayed
and
you.
then they betray you and label you as a traitor. Yeah, okay, yeah, my allegiance to you is now null and void
Mm-hmm.
because you don't accept me as your own.
Yeah.
Then I can understand. Okay, here, Romania, I'll go with you.
Mm-hmm.
Whoever will take me. But the other, what I don't get is the other country saying, "Oh, come in." So, especially Russia.
Mm-hmm.
If it was any other country, I'd say
Yeah,
that
I
would
get
make
that.
sense. But Russia,
Russia.
Why didn't Ecuador? That's weird, right? I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Russia is a huge power player
Mm-hmm.
on this board. That's a good
One
good point, Jason.
so I don't know.
Yeah, one other crazy thing that happened through this was the Bolivian president flew to Russia.
Bolivia?
Yeah, to visit.
Oh, El Sueño.
He flew up to Russia to visit with Putin to talk about something related to energy or something, and he did an interview where they're like, "Would you offer Snowden asylum?" And he said yes.
The Bolivian president.
The Bolivian president said that, and then WikiLeaks, just trying to muddy the waters and stuff, basically put some misinformation out there that Snowden was actually on the presidential plane that the Bolivian president was flying back on, and they grounded the plane in Austria, because basically France and a few other countries were like, you can't come in our airspace, you have to land.
Yeah, I believe that's
And,
true.
and they made him land his plane in Austria, and they searched his plane top to bottom for Edward
Yeah,
Snowden
100%
when he
believe
wasn't even in there.
I believe that 100%.
Yeah.
If you guys get a chance sometime this week, watch that Netflix documentary about that missing plane that happened, years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yeah.
the one that's on my list.
Dude.
The one that was uncovered. They had no idea.
Bizarre.
Was that one Malaysian flight?
Yes, the Malaysian
It
flight.
is,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and they found it.
What? No.
Oh, I thought that's
It's
what
gone,
the
dude.
show was about.
No. No.
Hey, we finally found it.
No.
No, that is okay. It's still weird. It's gone.
It's so
That's a portal.
one
dude.
of the theories was that it was grounded by the U.S. military in that airspace because we were doing military drills.
Mm.
Another one says that we had some high-tech weapons on there.
Could be.
But anyway, So I mean, yeah, it's plausible that I believe that they grounded that Bolivian plane.
Yeah. It's crazy.
America does what they want.
They do. And basically all the European countries are like little vassal states that will do whatever the U.S. asks. So,
which I'm glad. I mean,
Yeah, it's
I'm
nice
I'm
to-
glad to be the big dog on the, on the
On the
stage.
stick?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, God bless our man. God bless America. Absolutely.
yeah.
But
Oh,
I'm not,
yeah.
I'm not naive to think that our hands are clean and not they don't have blood on them, because they do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
For
not in
sure.
the past decade for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, just thinking about the whole, with that much power that we have as a nation, I'm surprised he's not dead yet.
I am so shocked.
Yeah.
I'm surprised. It's just maybe he's just.
I think they can't kill him at this point. It would just be too obvious. But
Well, I think it's good now that he's a Russian citizen, because that would cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
You just
That
killed
makes
one of our
sense. That
citizens?
makes sense.
Are you
Okay.
joking me?
I get that. Yeah,
Yeah.
So that was kind of a smart move,
that was a smart move. So yeah, that's probably
because
deterrent.
they're trying to charge him under the Espionage Act.
Yep.
That's what they're trying to charge
Yeah.
him. So, I mean, he can never,
No.
he couldn't go anywhere.
We'll never see U.S. soil again.
No.
Yeah, probably not. Yep. He said on the Joe Rogan show he would come back if he got pardoned.
Of course.
Why didn't,
Yeah.
yeah,
cold in
somebody
Russia.
pardon him.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Trump
But
said
I
he would
think-
do it at one point in time. Remember that?
He did.
Yeah. Never did, though.
He should.
It came
Trump
up
said a
in an
lot of things
interview.
he didn't do.
That's true.
Trump says a lot of things
Hey,
in general.
Say, I like Snowden. I like it. I like it up north when it snows, and I like Edward when it's Snowden.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Snowden.
Hey, you mentioned WikiLeaks. So that whole thing, so that's Julian Assange, right?
Yeah, he's the founder.
So where are they located? Where are they?
they located?
Where are they founded? I mean, where founded? Is that the?
That's a good question. London?
think
London.
London, maybe?
So was he a thing before Snowden?
What do you mean a thing? Like, what did people know what WikiLeaks
Like,
was?
hey, I got this stuff. I'm leaking. I'm
Yeah.
leaking Wiki.
Yeah. I think WikiLeaks' biggest thing was the 2016 Podesta laptop emails.
Yeah, and Hillary. Yeah, the emails.
Yeah. So they didn't have their, biggest record out yet, but they were still on the scene.
Okay.
Yep.
So they were there doing their thing.
Mm-hmm.
Snowden comes along, does his thing. He's like, "Wow, you're breaking stuff that I wish I could have got my hands on."
Right.
Probably.
Yep. Yeah, I think prior to that they did like the it was Chelsea Manning. Have you heard of that?
Yep.
The Chelsea Manning
Right.
case. They
Yeah.
leaked some of that stuff. Yeah. So yeah, they were on the scene for sure.
So why is he not in trouble?
Who?
Is he not leaking secrets?
Assange. I don't.
Is he not Espionage Act?
He is. I think. I don't know exactly what the deal is with him, but he's.
So he's an enemy of the state?
Believe so.
Okay.
Yep.
But London loves him.
I think a lot of
Maybe.
people like in our communities kind of have both these guys in the same basket. They both like them. They like them both, I should say.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm going to read you a quote. So just for people that are on the fence, Traitor Hero, read you a quote from Snowden. When I realized we have been violating in secret the Fourth Amendment, which Mike mentioned earlier, the Fourth Amendment of that Constitution for the better part of a decade, that we are committing felonies in the United States under a direct mandate from the White House billions of times a day, honestly, I fell into depression.
Yeah,
End
I would
quote.
too. I would too.
So that quote, I don't know how you feel, listener, about the White House committing felonies a billion times a day, but that's not a good thing.
It is not a good thing.
And if you get pulled over for, I don't know, a speeding ticket, that's an issue. So we can be held accountable as the American public, but the American government is never held accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Right. You see it every day.
Yeah.
True.
It's two-tier justice.
I have a quote from Snowden as well.
Oh, good. We're full of quotes today.
So this is what Snowden said is his greatest fear about all these disclosures, which I think you guys will already have the answer to that. He says, the greatest fear that I have regarding the outcome for America of these disclosures is that nothing will change. People will see in the media all of these disclosures. They will know the lengths that the government is going to grant themselves powers unilaterally to create greater control over American society and global society. But they won't be willing to take the risks necessary to stand up and to fight to change things, to force their representatives to actually take a stand in their interests. And in the months ahead, in the years ahead, it's only going to get worse until eventually there will be a time where policies will change, because the only things that restrict the activities of the surveillance state are policy. And because of that, a new leader will be elected. They'll flip the switch. They'll say that because of the crisis, because of the dangers that we face in the world, that we will need more authority, we will need more power, and at that point, there will be nothing that people can do to oppose it, and it will be a turnkey tyranny. So,
Wow.
yeah. So he paints a very bleak picture.
When did he say that?
He said that in 2013
2013.
to The Guardian.
Wow.
Yep.
And we can just, I mean, he just forecasted, right? He just forecasted what happened. It's going to happen. And what happened with the pandemic.
Mm-hmm. It has. Yeah.
So we had to stay in our houses.
Yep.
Wow.
The pandemic definitely is a really good exercise to go through if you're ever wondering like what people will put up with.
Right.
Because people will put up with just about anything is what I've learned. And
Yeah.
There are obviously people that don't.
For fear.
But the vast majority of people do, and they will.
Yeah.
And so when he says things like this about people not being willing to take the risks necessary to basically hold their representatives' feet to the fire, I mean, I could just totally see that happening.
Yeah.
You know? And like he said, in the months ahead, in the years ahead, bit by bit, it gets worse and worse over time.
Yeah.
And we're going to end up at a point where basically we can't stop it anymore.
Yeah.
Because they have too much power and they know too much. And now
And you're on the Clinton list.
Yeah, now we're in big trouble. So
I don't think we're that far away from there.
we're not super far away.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, when we're talking about the Restrict Act at the beginning of this show, and you know, talking about like what a foreign adversary is supposed to mean in the context of, you know, the Department of Commerce, whatever their interpretation of that is. I mean, this podcast could fall under, you know, acting in the interest of a foreign adversary, right? If you're someone who's critical of the war in Ukraine or for any reason, you know, that could be something that they look upon as, hey, this is actually a terrible thing to say.
Yeah, any contrary belief or thought,
yes,
you know,
Thought crimes.
yeah, that threatens the United States would,
yes.
yeah, that's terrible.
So I agree with you. I don't think we're super far away at all.
And if you're wondering, if you're still on the fence, if he is getting any kind of financial support from the Russian government, which you're probably thinking that, he says, I have my own apartment. I have my own income. I live a fully independent life. I have never and will never accept money or housing from any other assistance from the Russian government. Somebody says, well, how do you make a living? Well, you can probably guess. He gives lectures. He speaks publicly for the American Program Bureau. Places book me to speak at the future of cybersecurity and like what's happening with surveillance and whistleblowing. So people want to talk to this guy. So they pay him money for it. So
How do we get him on the show?
let's get him on the show. That's a great idea.
On the show?
We should have got him on the show.
It probably costs some money.
Edward Snow. Yeah, that's right. He's
I
got to pay for the cat.
Yeah.
I thought we were both.
And he says on how he secures his personal cell phone, he says, I try not to use one as much as possible, but when I do, I use a cell phone that I have modified myself. I perform kind of a surgery on it. I open it up with special tools. I use a soldering iron and remove the microphone. I disconnect the camera so the phone can't listen when it's just sitting there.
Nice.
It physically has no microphone in it. You're just using it as like an old school landline.
Okay, cool.
So he's pulling, which you can do.
Yeah.
You can pull this phone out and disconnect all of that and still use the phone.
I'm sure he doesn't send any text messages. Anything.
Surely not. Not to Hillary.
No.
That would get lost.
Not to Hillary.
Yeah, not. Oh man, that's funny. I was just in Branson over the weekend, and I went into a Trump store.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah,
Are you kidding?
What
me?
was
these
it
are my
called?
people. It's called the Trump store.
Oh, okay.
That's what it was.
When you
called?
walk, yeah, you never been to one?
No.
Dude, your people are there, dude.
Your people.
I'm serious. You walk in, and I was like on a,
You felt
I was,
home.
well, everybody was talking. I was like, oh, this is, wow, okay. This is the podcast right here. Everybody was talking about whatever. I mean, just name it. And it was, it was on the right. It was, Joe Biden, whatever. It was good stuff.
I went to a Clinton store. It was the morgue.
Wait a minute. Do they have a Clinton store?
Yeah. The morgue.
They do?
The morgue.
No, I'm serious.
I don't know.
A cemetery.
Because I was
Probably not.
asking my wife about that because I've seen several Trump stores and on the front it's, FJB
That's so
flags. And I'm like, I've never seen another president's. I don't, is there an Obama store?
I'm sure there was at some point.
Yeah, but
I don't think it's still.
it's just, it was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I walked in, they were talking about Clinton body count.
Were they really?
Yes.
That's pretty cool.
Did you tell them we had a podcast?
No,
What?
because I was nervous.
Really? Were you
These
nervous?
guys were in cowboy hats and boots.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, had big buckles.
Okay.
Looked like they were carrying.
Yep.
Yeah. I just got a coffee mug and I left.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, they could be fans. You don't know. They might
They
already
probably
be listening
are.
to the show.
Yeah, that's a fan lost right there.
It's all right. We'll get them.
But they are listening in Ukraine,
They are.
by the way. Yeah. We have listeners in Ukraine and Israel just opened up.
What if it's
So
what's his name? The president.
it's probably
Netanyahu?
Snowden's probably
No,
listening to this right now.
Ukraine.
Snowden's listening to it.
Oh,
Ukraine.
Zelensky?
No, yeah, Zelensky.
Uh-huh. Vladimir Zelensky?
Well,
Wouldn't
anyway,
surprise me.
what do we have to end the show for Snowden? We got any follow-ups?
Any follow-ups? I don't know. Just,
He says my ultimate goal will always be to return to the U.S.
yeah.
I've actually had conversations with the government last in the Obama administration about what that would look like. And they said, you should come and face trial.
Oh, wow.
I said, sure, sign me up under one condition. I have to be able to tell the jury why I did what I did. And the jury has to decide if it was justified or
That's fair.
unjustified.
Hey,
Yeah.
that's fair.
He's calling it right there.
Yeah, because that's something with the Espionage Act, like where they don't even let you do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's like,
So that under that act, which
Yes.
they're trying to charge him with, they wouldn't let you do that.
right.
That's crazy.
Because otherwise that sounds like,
A fair trial.
Yeah, it's like,
How?
oh, you just want a fair trial? Don't we do that? But yeah, for Espionage Act, they don't. Because it's like, oh, this guy was, working for a foreign government.
That's exactly why he said that.
Yep. Yeah, he talked about that on the Joe Rogan episode I was listening. Yep.
Look, if Joe can get him, we can get him on.
Joe's got
Joe's
big
got
pockets, dude. He's got a deep wallet.
I think if Joe can get him, I think we can do it.
Yeah.
I would love
Let's
to.
get Joe on here.
That would be cool.
Yeah, it would be cool.
Yep.
By phone.
Sure.
Yep.
All right.
Or in studio.
Well, that's going to do it for the Joe Rogan show. I mean, the Edward Snowden show. Wow. Help us.
Okay. All right, Biden.
We're back. Well, anyway. Oh, man. Y'all got anything else to wrap up the podcast?
I don't think so.
Thanks, listeners, for listening. Wanted to tell you real quick, Spotify. I know not everybody pays for Spotify, but if you do pay for it, go and click the follow button, click the notification bell so you always get notified. And if you listen on Apple, if you're an Apple subscriber, go and subscribe on Apple Podcast and leave us a review. And I appreciate it. We thank you so much because we have this podcast is kind of what we do. It's we love doing it. We're going to be here with or without you, but we're glad you're here for the ride. If you're listening on YouTube, Rumble, or BitChute, and you liked this episode, do me a favor. Like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment. If you're listening on any other podcasting platforms, follow, turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. If you didn't like this episode, I thank you for listening this long. And tune in next week when you might hear Jason say...
Absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.